Hello everyone, welcome to the collection video. Once again, thank you for 100 subs. I didn't imagine that I would get it this fast, and thank you all so much. Let's get to 150, 200, whatever from here on out. And yeah, looking forward to the future. But yeah, today, collection. Let's do it. So before I start, there's a few bellies here that are, there's a few bellies that I have that are missing from here. I think the most important one to note is a Nami clone, which is not here right now, so I'll just give my quick thoughts on it. It's pretty good. If you are a clone kind of guy, buy the Armstrike Nami. It's great. Okay, now let's get to the collection. Firstly, we will go by chronological order, by when I got the bellies. So, this piece of shit, this CCC Benchmade clone garbage, this thing was fucking horrible. So, this isn't exactly my first belly ever. My first belly was some other CCC, like a black stainless steel comb, which was also pretty garbage. Then after that I got like a Bono Song comb. I don't know why they were both combs, but they were. So I got two combs, and then I got this, which was, at the time, to me, the best thing that I had, because, ironically, I was like, oh whoa, there's a spring latch! That's so cool! Because my first belly had a T-latch, and it was pretty flimsy, pretty shit. But this one had a spring latch, and I was like, whoa, it's so premium, it's so good! It's not, look at this. It's horrible. So if you're just starting out, I would say if you can get something like some random CCC garbage for like maybe less than 10 bucks, it's not a bad choice. But as you can see, they're not gonna hold up. Still, these things managed to absorb me, They got me into the hobby. Not entirely, I never got past the Y2K at the time, but they did always pique my interest. And without starting on them, I wouldn't have gotten back into the hobby like for real. So, this thing, absolute shit. Never want to touch it again. Fuck off. Alright, so first belly I have here is the wing. Now before the wing I did get a vault, but that has been sold to my friend. So funny story about why I have the wing. Because if the vault delivery went another way, I probably wouldn't have this right now. So, the reason I bought a wing was because my post office did not tell me when my vault arrived. So I waited for the vault for over a week, even though actually it just arrived within 5 days. So I was like, I'm worried about a vault. At worst I'll just get a refund, but in the meantime I'll just get a wing as my first bella song in case my vault is, never gonna get to me. Then 2 days before the wing arrived, I emailed the post office like a bit ago, but 2 days before the wing arrived, they got back to me and they said, it's already in your mailbox. I was like, I thought I told you guys to send it to my home. And it was not sent to my home, it was in the fucking mailbox. So yeah, it was in the mailbox all along. I didn't really need to buy this, but I'm glad I did. This was a humongous upgrade over the vault. It flipped so much better, it is absolutely gorgeous, and it is absolutely worth the price for a original design. So wing, love it. Still one of my favorites, even though it's one of my first. And yeah, gonna keep flipping it. Second, what did I get next? Let's see. Alright, Kraken clone. So this was my first step into clones. If you don't like clones, skip ahead. But this Kraken clone costed me too much actually, because I didn't know how to source it at first. So in Singapore we have this app called Carousel, and in Southeast Asia we also have this thing called Shopee. So this was available on both Shopee and Carousel from some random retailer, and they were basically just reselling these clones for like double the price. So I paid about 85 Singapore dollars for a Kraken clone, which was not worth it because later on I found out that if I buy straight from Taobao, it would be 35 bucks. So yeah, I got ripped off. But whatever. Kraken clone, really nice. It is really good. For the price, right? It's really good for the price. I will not like choose it over basically anything here, but it's still really good. It's basically my beater when I go to the park, and yeah, pretty nice. So you might notice that I have mismatched handles on here, and that's for a pretty simple reason. So I have a co-worker in the office who got kind of into flipping when I lent him my Canyon. So I decided for his birthday I would get him a Kraken, and I got him a blue one. And I asked him whether I could switch the handles on the bellies, and he said yes. So we have mismatched Krakens. So that's pretty cool. On to the next one. I believe it is another clone, that is right. So this is a red clone. Same thing from the same reseller. I got ripped off again. I just didn't know at the time. But yeah, Arm Shark Replicant. It is pretty darn good. Not much to say on this one. It's my first Thai Balisong, but I wouldn't really say that because it is like basically mostly G10. But still, it is my only G10 belly. It's pretty good. It's on the heavier side in my collection, but you know, it's quite nice. If you get it like directly from Arm Shark, it's pretty cheap, and yeah, not bad. The only thing that I'm like kind of miffed about this Balisong is that the Zen pins keep falling out, so I had to Loctite them, and you can't even screw the Zen pins too tight because then the entire thing will just bind up. But overall, rep, not bad. Next thing I got was the Canyon. So the Canyon was a pretty new belly at the time. So I believe the time when I was like looking up the Canyon, it was actually sold out. But I did subscribe to Nabalis newsletter. So the moment they said that there was a pre-purchase going on, I immediately bought the Canyon. And I got it about less than a month later, I believe. And this thing is really good. So the Canyon comes in at, I believe, 50 bucks. And I'll be damned, this thing is amazing. So it's by no means like top tier, right? But for the price, it's really hard to argue. And I think nowadays it is one of the best beginner Balisongs. It's one of the best first bellies. So yeah, pretty good. Canyon's pretty good. If you have the money, buy a Canyon. It can be a nice addition to your collection. Full stainless steel, that's pretty unique. So yeah, great belly, great job on the bellies. Next was the Marbles. Well, I was really on a Nabalis spree. Yeah. So I'll probably have a video coming soon about why Nabalis is my favorite maker. But for now, Marbles. Marbles pretty good. I got this one blemished. I believe it was about nearly 20 bucks off. So pretty good Balisong, not much to say. It was just at the time when I was like, you know, just buying Balisongs because I could, because I love them. But yeah, not bad. So this belly has a sort of interesting story. So the first time I brought it out of the house was when I was going to a bar. And this thing ended up getting soaked in beer, which is why the blade rusted a little bit. You can probably see it. But yeah, no biggie, still a pretty nice belly. I still flip it sometimes, but for the most part, I actually gave it to my mom because she found flipping interesting. And nowadays she can do a basic open and she can do a fan. So that's really cool. Next, what did I get next? Let me see. I got the... okay. So this is where I got the Nami clone. But Nami clone's not here, so next is the Extrusion. Extrusion, pretty good, nothing special. I just got it because I like how it looks. And it's a pretty good flipper. I would say it's better than a Canyon, in my opinion. It's quite a bit less sluggish. But it's not, like, amazing. I will say that having adjustable weights at this price point is pretty cool. So Nabalis did really good with that. Yeah, I'm just like constantly shitting Nabalis. I'm sorry, but I really like them. Nabalis, please sponsor me. I'm gonna go broke if I keep buying Balisongs. But yeah, really cool stuff. Nabalis did really good job. And yeah, that's it for the extrusion. Pretty simple. On to the next one. I believe that would be, yes, this guy. Actually no, let's talk about him first. This abomination. This is a glow-in-the-dark battle song from Taobao. I got it at a time when I was also getting 2 Krakens for my friends. One for each person's birthday. But yeah, oh my god, that was terrible. Oh, this feels horrible. Okay. So this thing, it isn't even blade bias, it's blade. It's just blade. Look at this fan. You see this? It's like stuck in a spike fan. Dude. Yeah, it's bad, it's really bad. I do like the kukri blade, so that's kinda cool, but yeah, this thing is horrible. If you get it fully charged, it does glow pretty bright at night. But yeah, it's kinda shit. I think it was like, the price was in the single digits in Singapore dollars, so it wasn't much of a loss. It's still a fun novelty, I guess, but usually it just like sits on my desk, just being left there. Yeah, I don't use it. Okay, next, Corvus. This was kind of my first grail. So I know that everybody's like definitions for grail are different, but the Corvus was my personal grail at the time because firstly, it was limited, so I really wanted it because FOMO, right? Secondly, and more importantly, the Corvus looks beautiful. The green and black always just looks so nice to me. I believe the first video I saw on the Corvus was from Blade Bias, and after that I saw Denden's video, and I was like, whoa, that thing looks sick! Where can I get one? Then I found out about LDY, which is also why I eventually got the Orion, but we'll get to that. So, the Corvus was a interesting belly for me because of the shipping process. So, the Corvus was the first thing that I've ever like tried to buy where the maker does not ship to Singapore, which is, you know, not on LDY, they just didn't have the right shipping contract at the time, and they still don't. LDY, please ship to Singapore, I would really like to buy a series, but yeah. Corvus was the first time I had to use a proxy shipping service. I had to use a service to kind of forward the parcel to me, which also resulted in, I believe, half the price that shipping would normally be, even if LDY would ship over here. Of course, I'm basing that claim off like Machinewise's and BBBarfly's shipping prices. But yeah, I had to proxy ship this thing, which ended up being a pretty dumb idea because I found out that you can just buy it from Taobao, and I didn't know you could just buy it from Taobao, and they were genuine, so I wasted like 50 bucks on this. But anyways, still love it. I still flip it quite a lot. I've dropped it a few times, but thank God there's no scratches, and yeah, I love this thing. On to the next one. Let's talk about this guy. Alright, the Superfly. My favorite trainer to this very day, until I get something better. The Superfly was my first really, I guess, kind of mid-high-end battle song. When I got it, it was on sale for, I believe, $199 USD, which was kind of insane, you know. Granted it was a sale, but still, that basically gave it like the same value as Nabalis products, or even better. So this was my first proper Thai battle song, and because of the fact that it's Thai, I wasn't really scared of bringing it outside or dropping it, because, well, this thing is a fucking tank. I have dropped it God knows how many times, and the tolerances have held up pretty well. It does wiggle a bit, you know, it's not like Machinewise tune. It has some wiggle, but no tap, no nothing. I barely ever tighten it, I just lube it once in a while. So Superfly, amazing. Anybody who's watching, if you have the money to spare, BBBarfly is a really good company. The Superfly is amazing. It comes with so much hardware, it's genuinely amazing. And yeah, you should get a Superfly. it is unbelievably good. Like, this thing flows so well. It carries so much momentum, like, without making it feel sluggish. Dude, this thing is so good. I cannot stop shilling the fucking Superfly, dude. It is genuinely so good. It flows... Jesus! It flows so well. Yeah, you can do anything you want with it. Obviously, if you're not shit at flipping like me, you can do much better, but still, Superfly, really great. Anybody watching, you should get one. On to the next. Okay, this next one was a complete impulse purchase, but still pretty funny. The Cheese. So the Cheese is unironically a really good battle song, but it doesn't really have a place in my collection. It flips well, right? By all means it flips well, but it does not really flip better than any of these things. But still, the Cheese is more in my collection to just prove a point that Nabalis value is truly basically unbeatable, especially at their price points. So Nabalis mostly makes budget trainers outside of stuff like the Vault Pro. Most of their Nabalis would fall below 120. And honestly, in my opinion, if the Vault Pro wasn't a YouTuber product, no shade towards Will or Brennan, the Vault Pro probably costs about the same as the Wing. Maybe just a little bit more because of the G10, but I really don't think it would cost that much. It doesn't even cost that much, right? I do think it would cost less if Will and Brendan did not work on it. But still, the Vault Pro looks really cool, but that's not the topic. So the Cheese. The Cheese is about 80 bucks, and I got it because I wanted to like reaffirm to myself that Nabalis is really putting out some great products for the money. And I was absolutely right. So even though the Cheese had a few issues on the marketing side that Blade Buyers talked about, Ethan brought up some really good points, such as the whole public flipping aspect, which I also disagreed with. If you want to see thoughts on that, you can check out my video. But yeah, the Cheese flips really great, especially for the price. I would say it flips almost better than the Kraken, the clone. But yeah, this thing's great. Grip is great because of the Teflon, and you know, you can do anything you want. Yeah, there's nothing bad to say about the Cheese. It's great. Even though it's an impulse purchase, I still flip it every now and then because it is such a nice belly. Okay, on to the next one. What is next? Let's see. The next one is the Madko. Okay. Oh wow, I love the sound of this thing. Okay, the Madko is basically my EDC in terms of titanium. So even though I like the Superfly, it is kind of expensive, so I don't carry it all the time. The Madko on the other hand was $100, so it was like a third of the price. So even if I lose the Madko, I wouldn't be devastated. But yeah, Madko clone from Armstrong DLC, pretty nice. If you are like thinking about buying it, I would say it's worth it for sure. But like, if you already have a Kraken, it's not gonna flip that different. Let me just try again. Yep, they basically flip the same. Whoops. They basically flip the same, but you know, if you are interested in how the Madko looks or sounds, definitely get it. I mainly just got it because it sounds nice, and you know, I have not been disappointed. It sounds really good. The only problems I've had is that mine, the screws kept coming loose, so I had to lock fight them, but that was kind of a mistake because now I can't get the screws to stop spinning. But still, Madko is really good. If you like how it sounds, you should get it. Budgie, if you're watching, Madko clone, pretty good. And yeah, I would say this is one of the better clones out there. Maybe, I think this is probably my favorite clone outside of the Nami. Actually no, I think I enjoy this more than Nami actually. Yeah, this thing's really good. My favorite clone. And yeah, Madko, not bad. And on to the next one, it would be the Sasori. Let me just get these string here because they are the only ones left. And these can move away. Okay, onto these three. Chronological order, let's go like this. Alright. Sasori, impulse purchase again. I just really wanted to have a Machinewise product, and frankly, I'm gonna be honest, when I got the Sasori, even though my video was pretty, I would say, slightly positive. I was kind of disappointed because of the value proposition. It was frankly an okay flipper in my opinion. Of course, you have to take it with a grain of salt because I am kind of shit. I don't really have time to practice. But still, I think the Sasori was fine overall, but it was not worth the price that Machinewise was proposing, which was $220. Granted, I got this blemish, so it was $200, but still, with shipping tacked on, it's like really expensive. But I'm not gonna put shipping against them because it's out of their control. But Sasori, I think it's fine. If you live in the US, it's gonna be more worth it because shipping won't be, killing you. But okay, this thing's really oily because I just lubed it. Yeah, Sasori is not bad, but the only thing that like really saved the Sasori for me was the zippy inserts. These really saved the knife. So with the zippy inserts, I think the Sasori is basically better at everything. It also brings it up to a more standard length. So at first the Sasori was about the same size as the Corvus, which is pretty short, but now it is the same length as your regular bellies. So like the wing is maybe just a smidge longer. I would hesitate to say that it's as big as say like the Marin platform balisongs, but I would say this is still a pretty nice belly. But the problem is that with all the mods, this thing came out to be too expensive. This thing costed way too much. But mainly this was just to support Machinewise and support Zippy, and I don't regret it. But on the flipping side, this thing is fine. With the Zippy mods, it's great. If you have a Sasori, I would say definitely get the Zippy mods. I think you should get the extension spacers and the inserts. Yeah, they're really nice. So if you have a Sasori, get the Zippy stuff, really cool. Sasori overall, not bad. Base model is kind of meh, but they are an American company. They can't have like as cheap of a price as say Nabalis, but overall, everything considered, nowadays my thoughts are the base Sasori is pretty good because my views are different now because I have stepped out of just the Nabalis ecosystem. So yeah, Sasori overall pretty good. That's enough rambling. On to the Orion. So this thing came from one of my videos. It was a mystery box unboxing. That's right. So this thing came from a Taobao mystery box, and if you don't know what Taobao is, it's kind of like the Chinese Amazon. It's where all you get all your cheap shit. But Chinese stuff is cheap, and they are usually, I wouldn't say good quality, but they're usually possible, and they will be like really worth their prices most of the time. And the Bella songs are definitely also following that same principle. So this Orion costed me, I believe, like $40 actually. It was an absolute steal, and it also came with a Squiddy G clone, which I gave my friend. But yeah, Orion, really good. Even if I paid full price for it, I would say it's still amazing. Granted, this Orion is not a standard one. It is a 1.5, but it is a Cerakote 1.5, a blue Cerakote, which does not exist like properly because these were defects and they weren't Cerakoted really nicely. So you can't really buy this outside of China, but Orion really good. If you are looking for your first balisong, I would say this is one of the top contenders along with stuff like the Cheese and Canyon. So yeah, Orion, great. I love it. And yeah, on to the last one. So this is my most recent belly, the Flip Forge palette. I've made a video on this like fairly recently. Okay, not that recently anymore. It's like 2-3 weeks ago because I just fucking didn't upload. But yeah, palette, really good. It's my first proper plastic belly that's not a clone. And yeah, I'll be damned. This thing is amazing. I would say that the price is kind of high, but that's because of my previous mindset, right? Nowadays, I think this palette is priced pretty well, considering everything is like made to order. And I think FlipForge did a wonderful job with it. And a great upside to it is that FlipForge is based in Taiwan, so shipping to me was not horrible. So that's a huge plus. But other than that, the palette is really nice. Let me think whether I have any stories of it. Okay, one thing. The palette took quite a bit of time to get to me, but that's because of the lead time. But I believe it was a bit longer than usual this time, because Flipforge kinda, I believe he forgot to engrave the KF here, which are my initials for my real name, which I'm not gonna tell any of you, but still. Palette, really great, you should get one if you have the money to spare. And yeah, I think that concludes the whole collection. Hopefully I'll get more bellies from here on out, but I'm probably gonna slow down on buying more bellies. I think the next one I'm eyeing is probably gonna be the Bird of Prey from the Create with Nabalis stuff. And other than that, I think maybe towards the end of the year I will get a Grail. So maybe the... I'm probably gonna eye the Thomas Bellasong, what's it called? The Astra as my first like higher end Grail. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go for the Astra. But yeah, other than that, that's about it for now. Thank you all for 100 subs, and let's move forward. And yeah, that's about it. Bye.